happy. That is it. I am very happy. That is it.
Has been shown through a variety of examples, mainly drawn from the Indian context. Note that the examples are an aid to explain a more general point. While teaching, the emphasis should be on the ideas and examples are to be used as illustrations. You can also creatively use comprehension passages like the one given after section second to test and reinforce new concepts. Integrations of production and integrations of markets is a key idea behind understanding the process of globalization and its impact. This has been dealt with at length in this chapter, highlighting the role of MNCs in the process. You have to ensure that the students grasp this idea with sufficient clarity before moving on to the next topic. Globalization has been facilitated by several factors. Three of these have been highlighted: rapid improvements in technology, liberalizations of trade and investment policies, and pressures from international organizations such as the WTO. Improvement in technology is a fascinating area for students, and you may, with a few explorations, in mind that the students are unaware of what India was like in the pre-liberalization era. A role play could be conceived to compare and construct the pre- and post-liberalization era. Similarly, international negotiations under WTO and the uneven balances in power are interesting subjects that can be conveyed in a discussion mode rather than as lectures. The final section covers the impact of globalization. To what extent has globalization contributed to the development process? This section draws on the topics covered in chapters 1 and 2. For example, what is a fair development goal, which you can refer to also. Examples and activities drawn from the local environment are a must while discussing this section. This might include contexts that have not been covered in the chapter, such as the impact of imports on local farmers, etc. Collective brainstorming sessions can be connected to analyze such situations. Sources for information. The call for a fairer globalization has been given, among others, by the International Labour Organization. Another interesting resource is to WTO website. It gives access to the variety of agreements that are being negotiated at the WTO for company-related information. Most MNCs have their own websites. If you want to critically look at the MNCs, one recommended website is www.comrades. God bless you. Chapter 4, Globalization and the Indian Economy. Most regions of the world are getting increasingly interconnected. While these interconnections across countries has many dimensions: cultural, political, social, and economic. This chapter looks at globalization in a more limited sense. It defines globalization as the integration between countries through foreign trade and foreign investments by multinational corporations. As you will notice, the more complex issues for portfolio investment have been left out. If we look at the past 30 years, So we find that MNCs have been a major force in the globalization processes connecting distant regions of the world. Why are the MNCs spreading their protection to other countries, and what are the ways in which they are doing so? The money and credit. Money as a medium of exchange. The use of money spans a very large part of our everyday life. Look around you and you would easily be able to identify several transactions involving money in any single day. Can you make a list of these? In many of these transactions, goods are being bought and sold with the use of money. In some of these transactions, services are being exchanged with money. For some, there might not be any actual transfer of money taking place now, but a promise to pay money later. Have you ever wondered why transactions are made in money? The reason is simple. A person holding money can easily exchange it for any commodity or service that he or she might want. Thus, everyone prefers to receive payments in money and then exchange the money for things that they want. Take the ease of a shoe manufacturer. He wants to sell shoes in the market and buy wheat. The shoe manufacturer will first exchange shoes that he has produced for money and then exchange the money for wheat. Imagine how much more difficult it would be if the shoe manufacturer had to directly exchange shoes for wheat without the use of money. He would have to look for a wheat growing farmer who not only wants to sell wheat but also wants to buy the shoes. In exchange, that is, both parties have to agree to sell and buy each other's commodities. This is known as a double coincidence of wants. What a person desires to sell is exactly what the other wishes to buy. In a barter system where goods are directly exchanged without the use of money, double coincidence of wants is an essential feature. In contrast, in any economy where money is in use. Money, by providing the effectual intermediate step, eliminates the need for double coincidence of wants. It is no longer necessary for the shoe manufacturer to look for a farmer who will buy his shoes and at the same time sell them. Thank you. Ninda.
Children, we are going to learn about the festivals of India. India is a land of festivals. Every day of the year there is a festival celebrated in some or other part of the country. Can you say about some of the festivals which we celebrate in India?
Ma'am, Deepavali.
Oh, very good. It's the festival of lights and is celebrated to remember Lord Rama's homecoming. He spent 14 years in the forest, and when he came back, the people were very happy to welcome him, so they started to celebrate it.
What about Christmas, ma'am?
Christmas on 25th December. Christmas celebrate Christmas to remember the birth of Lord Jesus.
Ramzan is a Muslim festival, isn't it, ma'am?
All Muslims celebrate Ramzan as their great festival. They fast and pray in order to celebrate the festival.
Ma'am, we like to celebrate Holi.
It's the festival of colors. How was the last Holi celebration?
It was really nice. We all enjoyed it by pouring colored water on our relatives and friends.
We celebrate these festivals to bring joy. We should be happy to celebrate all the festivals. Some festivals welcome the seasons of the year, the harvest, the rain, or the full moon. Other festivals celebrate religious occasions. Money and credit. Money is a fascinating subject and full of curiosities. It is important to capture this element for the students. The history of money and how various forms were used at different times is an interesting story. At this stage, the purpose is to allow students to release the social situation in which these forms were used. Modern forms of money are linked to the banking system. This is the central idea of the first part of the chapter. The present situation in India, where newer forms of money are slowly spreading with computerization of the banking system, offers many opportunities to students to explore on their own. We need not get into a formal discussion of the functions of money, but let it come up as questions. There are certain areas that are not covered, such as creation of money or the backing of the modern system, that may be discussed if you desire. As you would see in the chapter, the stock of money consists of currency held by the public and the demand deposits that they hold with the banks. This is the money that people can use as the wish, and the government has to ensure that the system works smoothly. What would happen when the government declares that some of the currency notes used by people would be made invalid and would be replaced by new currency? In India, during November 2016, currency notes in the denomination of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 were declared invalid. People were asked to surrender these notes to the bank by a specified period and receive new rupees 500 and 1000 were declared invalid. People were asked to surrender those notes to the bank by a specific period and receive new rupees 500 and rupees 2000 or other currency notes. This is known as demonetization. Since then, people were also encouraged to use their bank deposits rather than cash for transactions. Hence, digital transactions started by using bank-to-bank transfer through the internet or mobile phones, checks, ATM cards, credit cards, and point-of-sale swipe machines at shops, POS. This is promoted to reduce the requirement of cash for transactions and also control corruption. Students could be asked to debate on the process and the impact of demonetization. They can be guided to make a college of the major areas where people use digital and cash transactions which are legitimate and legal. They can also discuss the transactions which are legal and why. It is also important to intimate students that different types of plastic cards are used in place of cash transactions, but not all of the money per se. Credit is a crucial element in economic life, and it is therefore important to first understand this is a conceptual manner. What are the aspects that one looks at in any credit arrangement and how this affects people is the main focus of the second part of the chapter. The world around us offers a tremendous variety of such arrangements, and it would be ideal to explain these aspects of credit from situations that are familiar to your students. The other crucial issue of credit is its availability to all, especially the poor, and on reasonable terms. We need to emphasize that this is a right of the pupil, and without which a large section of them would be kept out of the development process. There are many innovative interventions such as that of Grameen Bank, of which students may be made familiar with, but it is important to realize that we don't have answers to all questions. We need to find new ways, and this is one of the social challenges that developing countries face. Source of information. The data on formal and informal sector credit used in this chapter is drawn from the survey on rural debt by the National Sample Survey Organization, All India Debt and Investment Survey 17th round 2030, conducted by NSSO, now known as National Statistical Office, NSO. The information and data on Grameen Bank is taken from newspaper reports, websites, In order to get the details of bank-related statistics or a particular detail of bank, you can log on the websites of the Reserve Bank of the India and the concerned bank's data on self-groups provided on the website of the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development.
To do this, we have used situations that they can respond to the intuitive manner. We have also present analysis that is more complex and macro in nature. How can countries or states can be compared using some selected development indicators is another question that students would read about in this chapter. Economic development can be measured and income is the most common method for measuring development. However, the income method, though useful, has several weaknesses. Hence, we need newer ways of looking at development using indicators of quality of life and environmental sustainability. It is necessary for you to expect the students to respond actively in the classroom and on a topic such as above. There would be wide variations in opinion and possibility of debate. Allow students to argue their point of view. At the end of each section, there are few questions and activities. These serves two purposes. First, they recap the idea discussed in the section, and second, they can enable better understanding of the themes discussed by bringing the learners close to their real life situations. There are certain terms used in this chapter that would require classification. Per capita income, liberty rate, life expectancy, gross endowment ratio, and human development index. Through data preparing to these terms are provided. These would need further explanations. You may also need to clarify the concept of purchasing power priority that is used to calculate per capita income in the table. It is necessary to keep in mind that these terms are used and aid to discussion and not something to be memorized. Sources of information. The data for the chapter is taken from reports published by the Government of India, Economy Survey, Report of the National Family Health Survey and Handbook of Statistics on the Indian Economy, United Nations Development Program, that is Human Development Report, and World Bank, that is World Development Indicators. Many of these reports are being published every year. It may be interesting to look up those reports if they are available in your school library. If not, you may log on to the website of the institutions. Data is also available from the Reserve Bank's Handbook of Statistics on Indian Economy. Development has many aspects. The purpose of this chapter is to enable students to understand the idea. They have to understand that people have different perspectives on development and there are ways by which they can arrive at common indicators for development.
Production across countries. Until the middle of the 20th century, production was largely organized within countries. What crossed the boundaries of these countries were raw material, foodstuff and finished products. Colonies such as India exported raw materials and foodstuff and imported finished goods. Trade was the main channel connecting distant countries. This was before large companies called multinational corporations, MNCs, emerged on the scene. A MNC is a company that owns controls productions in more than one nation. MNCs set up offices and factories for production in regions where they can get cheap labor and other resources. This is done so that the cost of production is low and the multinational companies can earn greater profits. Consider the following reasons. Spreading of production by an MNC. A large multinational company producing industrial equipment designs its products in research centers in the United States and then has the components manufactured in China. These are then shipped to Mexico and Eastern Europe where their products are assembled and the finished products are sold all over the world. Meanwhile, the company's customer care is carried out through call centers located in India. One example, there is a call center in Bangalore equipped with telecom facilities and access to the internet to provide information and support to customers abroad. Please subscribe our YouTube channel, press bell button and share to your friends and valuable family members. Thanks a lot. God bless you. Globalization and the Indian economy. As consumers in today's world, some of us have a wide choice of goods and services before us. The latest models of digital cameras, mobile phones and televisions made by the leading manufacturers of the world are within our reach. Every season, new models of automobiles can be seen on Indian roads. Gone are the days when Ambassador and Fiat were the only cars of Indian roads. Today, Indians are buying cars produced by nearly all the top companies in the world. A similar explosion of brands can be seen for many other goods, from shirts to television to proceed fruit juices. Such wide-ranging choice of goods in our markets is a relatively recent phenomenon. You would not have found such a wide variety of goods in Indian markets even 2 decades back. In a matter of years, our markets have been transformed. How do we understand these rapid transformations? What are the factors that are bringing about these changes? And how are these changes affecting the lives of the people? We shall dwell on these questions in this video. Consumer rights. This video proposes to discuss the issue of consumer rights within the context of the ways markets operate in our country. There are many aspects of unequal situations in a market and poor enforcement of rules and regulations. Hence, there is a need to sensitize learners and encourage them to participate in the consumer movement. This chapter provides case histories how some consumers were exploited in a real life situation and how legal institutions helped consumers in getting compensated and in upholding their rights. The case histories would enable the students to link these narratives to their life experiences. We have to enable students to understand that the awareness of being a well-informed consumer arose out of consumer movement and active participation of people through their struggles over a long period. This Video also provides details of a few organizations helping consumers in different ways. Finally, it ends with some critical issues of the consumer movement in India, aspects of teaching and source of information. This video has questions, case studies and activities. It would be preferred that students discuss these in groups orally. Some of these could be answered in writing individually. While carrying out each activity, you could start with a brainstorming section about the activity. Similarly, there are many opportunities for role play in this video, and this could be useful way to share their experiences and understand the issues of a deeper level. Making posters collectively is another way to think about these issues. This lesson and video contains activities which require visit to consumer protection, counselings, consumer organizations, consumer court, retail shops, marketplaces, etc. Organize the visits to maximize learners' experience. Have a discussion with them about the purpose of the visit, things they need to do beforehand and things that need to be collected and the task, report, project, article, etc. they would carry out after the visit. As part of this video, the learners may do letter writing and speaking activities. We may have to be sensitive to the language aspect of exercises. This video contains material collected from authenticated websites, books, newspapers, YouTube channel and magazines. In our YouTube channel name, God Motivation German Lijo Jishi. Please subscribe our YouTube channel. Press all notifications. Please cooperate with us. It publishes a variety of material to create consumer awareness in India. They need to be shared among learners so that they can also collect material as part of their activities. For example, case histories were taken from newspaper clippings and consumers who fought in consumer courts. Let learners collect and read such material from different sources: consumer protection, counselings, consumer courts and internet.
Yeah!
Just a cruise.
காட்டுறது தப்பு இல்லக்கா. முடிஞ்சு போறோம்னு நம்மளை கொட்டி பாக்குறானே, அவனை குத்தி பார்க்கணும், குடலை உருவி பார்க்கணும். கத்தி குத்து நமக்கு காது குத்து மாதிரிங்கிறத காட்டுக்கா.
பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு அடிக்கல, தப்பு நடக்கணும். ஆனா அதை நாங்க மட்டும்தான் பண்ணோம்.
levitate, no more levitation.
happy. 36.